Hey there, let's start with a question. Have you ever felt like your life is slipping out of your hands, pulled away by tiny habits you didn't even notice forming? Maybe it's checking your phone just one more time before bed, or grabbing that extra donut because it's just one. We've all been there, haven't we? These moments seem small, harmless even, but they can stack up and steer your life in directions you never planned. That's the power of your mind. It's like a quiet force that can either be your greatest ally or your sneakiest opponent. Your mind is incredible. It's what dreams up your goals, fuels your creativity, and pushes you to chase what matters. But here's the catch. Without a steady hand to guide it, your mind can wander, latch onto distractions, and before you know it, you're miles away from where you wanted to be. Think about this. Studies show the average American spends about 2 to 3 hours a day scrolling through social media, often starting with just 5 minutes on TikTok or Instagram. That's time you could have spent building a side hustle, learning a new skill, or just enjoying a quiet moment with someone you love. It's not that social media is evil. It's that our minds love the quick hits of joy it gives us, and without control, those hits can take over. Here's a small lesson to kick things off. Your mind is like a curious puppy. It's full of energy and eager to explore, but if you don't train it, it'll chew up your favorite shoes, or in this case, your dreams. The good news? You can train it. You can decide what to feed it and where to guide it. And to show you just how important this is, let me share a story about a monk who learned this lesson the hard way. It's a tale from long ago, but trust me, it hits home for all of us, even in our fast-paced, phone-filled world today. Picture this. A young monk, full of dreams and determination, leaves behind his family, his home, everything he knows, to chase something deeper, truth. He settles in a quiet forest near a small village, living in a simple bamboo hut, with just 2 pieces of clothing and a heart set on meditation. Sounds peaceful, right? The villagers love him. They seek his wisdom, even build him that little hut out of respect. But life, as it often does, throws him a curveball. One day, the monk notices a problem: rats. These pesky little creatures sneak into his hut, chewing holes in his clothes. Frustrated, he shares this with the villagers, and one of them suggests, "Why not get a cat? It'll keep the rats away." Seems like a no-brainer, so he agrees. Sure enough, the cat works like a charm, no more rats. But now there's a new issue. The cat needs food. The monk starts making extra trips to the village to beg for milk, which cuts into his meditation time. The villagers, always ready to help, come up with another idea. Get a cow. You'll have milk for the cat and yourself. So a cow joins the picture. But cows need grass, and grass needs care. The monk, who's supposed to be meditating, is now trekking to the village for grass too. The villagers, seeing his struggle, propose another solution. There's a widow in our village. She's alone, and she'd be happy to help. She can care for the cow, the cat, even cook for you. The monk thinks, why not? The widow moves in, tends to the animals, grows vegetables, keeps the hut tidy. They start working side by side in the fields, sharing meals, sharing moments. She's kind, he's young, and slowly something sparks. Before long, feelings grow, they become close, and soon she's pregnant. The monk, who once spent his days seeking truth, is now working dawn to dusk to feed a family. One quiet evening, exhausted from a long day in the fields, he sits down and reflects. What happened? He wonders. I left the world behind to find truth, but here I am, back in the very life I walked away from. It hits him like a ton of bricks. It all started with that cat. One small decision snowballed into a life he never planned. This story reminds me of something we all do. Think about that time you decided to just grab one coffee from Starbucks every morning. Seems harmless, but soon it's $5 a day, $150 a month, and you're wondering where your savings went. That's the lesson here. Small choices can quietly stack up, leading you far from your goals before you even notice. So what's this cat really about? It's not just a furry little animal that started the monk's troubles. That cat is a metaphor, a stand-in for those tiny, seemingly harmless choices we make every day that can quietly take over our lives. It's the moment you say, I'll just check Instagram for 5 minutes, or one more episode on Netflix won't hurt. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? These are the cats we let into our lives, thinking they're no big deal, but before we know it, they've brought along a whole herd of complications. Let's break it down. In our modern world, these cats are everywhere. Take social media, for example. You grab your phone to check a quick message, but an hour later, you're deep in a TikTok rabbit hole, watching videos of dancing dogs or DIY hacks you'll never try. Or think about shopping. You're on Amazon just looking for a new phone charger, but somehow end up with a cart full of gadgets and a lighter bank account. Then there's procrastination, telling yourself you'll start that work project after just one game of Fortnite, only to realize the whole evening's gone. These moments don't seem like much on their own, but they're like the monk's cat. One small choice that opens the door to bigger distractions. Here's why this happens. Our brains are wired to love quick rewards. Scientists call it the habit loop. There's a trigger like boredom that leads to a behavior like scrolling your phone, which gives you a hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical. That reward makes you want to do it again, and soon it's a habit. The problem? We tell ourselves it's just one time, or I can stop whenever I want. But that's the trap. Just like the monk didn't see how a cat would lead to a whole family, we don't see how these small indulgences can derail our goals. Here's a real-life example. Meet Sarah, a graphic designer from Chicago. She started checking Twitter during her lunch breaks to stay updated on design trends. No harm, right? But soon, she was checking it every hour, getting caught up in debates and memes. By the end of the month, she was behind on deadlines, stressed, and wondering where her focus went. That's her cat, social media, and it snuck in without her noticing. The lesson here? Be mindful of the cats you let into your life. Before you make a choice, ask yourself, is this serving my bigger goals, or is it just a quick fix? It's like checking the door before letting a stray cat in, because once it's inside, it's hard to get it out. Alright, let's get into the why behind those sneaky cats. Why is it so easy to let a 5-minute scroll on your phone turn into an hour? Or to grab that extra slice of pizza when you know it's not the best choice? It's not just a lack of willpower. There's a whole science going on inside your brain that makes these slip-ups feel so natural. Here's the deal. Your brain loves rewards. Every time you do something that feels good, like watching a funny TikTok video or eating a sweet treat, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. It's like a little high five from your brain saying, "Nice, do that again." Scientists call this a habit loop. Something triggers you like feeling bored or stressed, which leads to a behavior like checking Instagram or snacking. That behavior gives you a dopamine hit, and your brain starts craving it more and more. Over time, those just one-time moments wire your brain to repeat the behavior without even thinking. It's why the monk's decision to get a cat didn't feel like a big deal at first. It was just one small choice, but it set off a chain reaction. Think about this. A study from Harvard found that we spend nearly half our day, 47%, not fully focused on what we're doing, often distracted by our phones or wandering thoughts. That's your brain chasing those dopamine hits, pulling you away from what really matters. It's like a race car with no steering wheel, fast, powerful, but headed wherever the road takes it. Let me share a story. Jake, a college student in Seattle, used to unwind by playing video games after class. He'd tell himself, just one round of Call of Duty. But that one round often turned into hours, leaving him scrambling to finish homework at 2 a.m. He didn't realize his brain was hooked on the quick thrills of the game. The dopamine rush from each win kept him coming back. Before long, his grades slipped, and he felt stuck in a cycle he couldn't break. Here's the small lesson. Your brain isn't out to get you. It's just doing what it's wired to do. But you can outsmart it by noticing those triggers. Next time you reach for your phone or that extra cookie, pause and ask, what's driving this? Am I bored? Stressed? Just that tiny moment of awareness can stop the habit loop in its tracks. Okay, so we've seen how those little cats can lead us astray and how our brains get hooked on them. But what happens if we let them run the show? It's one thing to lose an hour to scrolling or skip a workout for a Netflix binge. But when these habits pile up, they can quietly reshape your entire life in ways you never saw coming. Just like the monk who ended up with a family when all he wanted was to chase truth. Letting your mind wander without control can pull you far from the life you want. Let's talk about what this looks like in our world. First, your career can take a hit. Imagine you're always putting off that big project at work because you're just checking Reddit or playing one more round of a game. Those delays add up, missed deadlines, passed over promotions, or even losing a job. Then there's your relationships. Ever notice how being glued to your phone can make your partner or kids feel ignored? Over time, those small moments of distraction can create distance, even resentment. And let's not forget your mental health. Constantly giving in to these habits can leave you feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or like you're stuck in a rut, wondering why you can't get a grip. Here's a real story. Meet Emily, a marketing assistant from Denver. She loved her job, but started a habit of scrolling through Instagram during breaks to de-stress. Soon, she was checking it during work hours, missing emails, and falling behind on campaigns. Her boss noticed, and she missed out on a promotion she'd been working toward. At home, her husband felt ignored because she was always on her phone, leading to arguments. Emily started feeling anxious, like she was failing at everything. It all traced back to that one harmless habit of scrolling too much. It's like the monk's story all over again. His cat led to a cow, then a family, pulling him back to the life he'd left behind. For us, it's not always about ending up with a cow. It's about losing time, opportunities, and peace of mind. The lesson here? Small habits don't stay small. They grow, and if you're not steering your mind, they can steer you somewhere you never wanted to go. So, take a moment today to notice one habit that's pulling you off track. It could be the first step to saving your bigger goals. Alright, we've seen how those sneaky cats can lead us astray and the real cost of letting our minds run wild. But here's the exciting part. You don't have to be a monk meditating in a forest to take back control. Your mind is powerful, and with a few simple tools, you can steer it toward the life you want. Let's talk about 3 practical techniques to tame those distractions and make your mind your best friend. First up, meditation. I know it might sound a bit out there, but hear me out, it's easier than you think. Just 5 minutes a day of sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, can train your brain to stay present. Close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out, and when your mind wanders, because it will, gently bring it back. It's like teaching that curious puppy we talked about to sit still. Second, try journaling. Grab a notebook and jot down your daily choices. I scrolled Twitter for 20 minutes instead of working on my presentation. Seeing it on paper helps you spot those cats before they grow. Finally, set boundaries. Use apps like Freedom or Cold Turkey to block distracting websites, or set a timer for 30 minutes of phone-free time. It's like locking the door so the cat can't sneak in. Let me tell you about Lisa, a teacher from Austin. She was struggling to grade papers because she kept checking her phone for news updates. She started meditating for 5 minutes each morning, which helped her focus. She also used a journaling trick, writing down every time she got distracted. Within a week, she noticed her phone-checking cat and set a boundary. No phone until her grading was done. The result? She finished her work faster, felt less stressed, and even had time to enjoy evenings with her family. Lisa didn't overhaul her life. She just made small changes that added up. Here's the lesson. You don't need to change everything at once. Pick one of these techniques, meditation, journaling, or boundaries, and try it for a week. Small, consistent steps are like training wheels for your mind, helping you build control over time. The biggest mistake? Trying to do too much too fast, and giving up when it feels hard. Start small, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. So here we are. We've walked through the monk's story, uncovered those sneaky cats in our lives, and learned how to tame them with simple tools. Now it's time to take the wheel. You don't need to be a monk or have superhuman willpower to start controlling your mind. All it takes is one small step, right now, to set you on a path toward the life you really want. Here's a challenge for you. Take 1 minute, yep, just 60 seconds, to think about your own cat. Maybe it's the urge to check your phone every time it buzzes, or grabbing fast food when you're stressed. Whatever it is, name it. Then pick one thing to do differently today. Try meditating for 5 minutes when you wake up, or set a timer to stay off social media for an hour. It's not about perfection, it's about starting. Let me tell you about Mike, a barista from Portland. He used to spend his evenings scrolling through YouTube, losing hours he wanted to spend learning guitar. One day, he decided to try a small change: no phone after 8 p.m. Instead, he picked up his guitar. A month later, he was playing his first full song and sleeping better too. That one small choice changed his evenings, his mood, and his confidence. Here's the lesson. Every big change starts with a tiny decision. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just pick one cat to keep out today, and you're already steering your mind towards something better. Now let's talk about the payoff, the real, life-changing reward of mastering your mind. Imagine waking up each day feeling clear, focused, and in charge of your choices. Picture yourself chasing your dreams, whether it's landing that dream job, strengthening your relationships, or just finding more peace in your day, without those little distractions pulling you off course. That's the freedom you get when you steer your mind instead of letting it steer you. This isn't just a nice idea, it's possible, and it's closer than you think. Take Anna, a single mom from Atlanta. She used to spend hours doom scrolling news feeds, feeling drained and anxious. One day, she decided enough was enough. She started with just one change: 10 minutes of meditation each morning and turning off her phone during dinner with her kids. At first, it felt tough, but within weeks, she was sleeping better, laughing more with her children, and even started a side hustle she'd always dreamed of. Anna didn't become a monk or move to a forest. She just took small steps to control her mind, and those steps changed her life. Here's the big lesson. Every time you say no to a cat, whether it's a mindless scroll, a quick snack, or hitting snooze, you're saying yes to something bigger. You're building a life where you're not just reacting but creating. You're not just dreaming but doing. And the best part? You don't need to wait for a perfect moment. Right now, this very second, you have the power to choose. So, take that first step today. Pick one small habit to shift, and watch how it ripples into something extraordinary. Thank you for being here, for caring enough about your life to listen to this story. You're already one step closer to mastering your mind. So go out there, tame those cats, and build the life you were meant to live. You've got everything it takes. Now let's make it happen.